Culture is programming. It's human programming. And one of the things I've learned from my Korean friends is that instead of being angry at people about their bad programming, I should really feel empathy for them. One of the reasons I started hanging out with Korean people and really became interested in the culture and the people is that my Korean friends are often so different from myself. And that's largely due to their culture. Korean culture and American culture are totally different. And that's what makes hanging out with Korean people so damn interesting. And the unique thing that makes cultures in general interesting is that culture is one of the inputs for human programming. There are very obvious things that we have no control over, like our height, where we were born, or who our parents are, but there are also less obvious things that we really don't have control of. We all like to believe we have free will. We all like to believe that life is this adventure that we're on, and what we do and what we say is our choice, and that's why it makes us who we are. But most philosophers agree that this just isn't true. The idea that we have free will has largely been debunked. There's a theory in philosophy called determinism that states that we aren't actually making choices, but rather we're just reacting to the environment around us. Why am I a hard worker? Is it because I made a decision and said, I'm going to be a hard worker? Or did I make that decision due to the fact that my parents raised me to be a hard worker? Why is a person rich? Is it because they decided, hey, I think I'll be rich, and then they became rich? Or is it because in their life they were granted specific opportunities and innate skills that others didn't have and thus became rich? I mean, many people want to be rich, but 99% of them, by the definition of rich, fail. So what exactly am I trying to get at here? Am I trying to say that rich people don't deserve their riches and that hard workers don't deserve our praise because it was all luck? No, the rich people who earned their riches still had to go through the difficulty of becoming rich, and hard workers still go through the grueling process of hard work. But there is a lot of luck in the world, and those who are rich and hardworking should understand that they had the luck to be born where they were, to the parents they were born to, and to be born in a time where their advantages were worth something. So that shows that people who have good attributes are lucky to have them. But what about people who have bad attributes? What about people who are lazy or mean? One's gut reaction, especially of Americans, is to say that the lazy are bad because they could work hard, but choose not to. Shouldn't we all be angry at a mean person for being mean? I mean, they are the ones going through the actions of being mean. So they should be blamed for it. And this is where my Korean friends have somewhat changed my mind on who's to blame. I was walking down a small street in Korea with my Korean friend when some guy on a scooter whizzed by us and basically almost hit us. My immediate reaction was, who the fuck is this motherfucker? Let's run him down and beat the shit out of him. Or to be real, I'm not going to fight anyone, but at least I want to run up to them and yell at them. And as my friend saw me losing my cool and swearing up a storm, she just said, you should feel bad for that guy. And then she went into this idea that the reason he has to show off by having an obnoxiously loud scooter and nearly hitting pedestrians is that he's probably got a pretty rough life. He's probably a guy that, to put it in the blunt, direct Korean style of speaking, doesn't earn a lot of money and is probably low status in society in general. Thus, he has to put a giant exhaust on his scooter to feel cool about himself. I should feel sorry for people that need to put a giant exhaust on their scooter to feel good about themselves. And she was right to some degree. And I can think of other examples where Korean people tend to blame the environment instead of the person. Like, whenever a friend of mine is late, I often get furious because this is kind of one of my pet peeves. And I think ultimately, the responsibility is on that person to be somewhere on time. But my Korean friends will often excuse this because they'll say something like, oh, their bus was probably had bad traffic, or they probably didn't have enough time to get ready. And after they tell me this, I like to retort with, you know what? Sometimes assholes are just assholes. But even if someone is being an asshole, why are they an asshole? Surely they didn't choose to be an asshole. Surely it's due to some outside influence, whether it be their parents, friends, family, or some other exogenous environmental reason. Now, I don't want to sit here and say it's okay to be mean or lazy or to be an asshole. I've talked about how Korean people are generally more accepting of these bad attributes than Americans, and for Americans, we tend to believe in what Jocko Willink calls extreme ownership. This idea that you must take responsibility for anything bad that's happened to you. And there is, even if you believe in the idea of determinism, a reason why you should hold people responsible for bad things that they've done, which is because we need the world. We need our society. We need whatever culture we are in to program people not to be dickheads. We need our societies to program people not to buzz around on their scooters, annoying the hell out of other people. We need our society to program people not to be lazy and to, in my fucking opinion, not show up late all the fucking time. What I've always known to be true, which I still think of as true, is that when someone is an asshole, you should yell at them. When someone is lazy, you should encourage them not to be lazy and to take ownership for being lazy. But the thing I've learned from Korean people is I should also feel a little empathy for the lazy and loud scooter driving people of the world, because the reason they are probably the way they are is because of the world around them.